My journey that I took going to Zambia, I went to this other place where I did money rituals. I regret each and every day because the person that I went to do money rituals for, I kept her dead body inside of my room in one of the house that I was renting far away from her relatives. I only got to inform the police about her death 2 days after she had passed away, because these were the rules of my rituals that I did in Zambia to kill the person that I loved. I did not kill that person using a knife or shooting that person. No, what I did was that I used those charms that I had been given by the traditional healer. And after using the charms, then my mother, she passed away in her sleep. And I slept with my mother. That is what hurts me the most. The place where I came out into the world, that is where I entered having sexual intercourse with my own mother. Even if I drink so much alcohol, but it still reminds me of the evil things that I did against my mother when she was alive and when she was dead. I come here in peace, and I come to you so that you can read my story and direct my confession to those people that are thinking right now. If you are someone, you are busy thinking about going and doing money rituals, I beg you, I understand your situation. The economy, it is very tough right now, I know, but try to get a job. You will eventually get that job that you are looking for. It is better that you get paid a small amount of a salary than for you to end up sleeping with a dead body of the mother that brought you into this world. It does not matter how much money you're going to make. They lie to you when they say that money will solve any problems. Money has not solved that problem. I keep on thinking about sleeping with a dead body. I have tried so many types of antidepressants. I was even using a pill that is called beta blocker, and it affected me so much. To sleep with a woman, it is a struggle right now because I had this anxiety where I could even fall down because of anxiety. I will keep on thinking about her spirit. What is she thinking about me? And this will give me anxiety. So the rules that I was given was that I have to relieve myself once a month. I find a bushy area and I look for a thorny bush or a thorny tree, and then I go under that tree or the bush, and then I poop there. Once I poop, I am supposed to eat my poop whilst it is still warm, and I have to finish it all. I do this when I am crying, because I will be crying and I'll be thinking, what is the benefit of it all? The benefit of the things that I am doing, because I can't see any benefit at all. The money that I do have, it is money that I am using on women, your slave queens, women that really do not care much about me. They just care about my money. They just want me to take them to different clubs so that they can enjoy, they can post on social media. And I know that if I do not have money, they will never ever be with me. I know the heart of a slave queen. She does not have the heart to love any single man. All that she cares about is who is giving her money at that moment. The money that I do have, it does not belong to me. This money, it belongs to the shrine back in Zambia, as I was told by the late Sangoma. And when you post my story, I beg you, do not even mention the name that I am using here, because when I created this ghost account, I just used a name that is closely related to my original name. Just know that I am a South African man born and raised in KZN, and I am 36 years of age. This thing of money rituals, it is not something to play with or to get into without knowledge. It is only enjoyable in the very beginning. If I had thought about it, I should have seen that if these people that come to our country, if there is so much witchcraft in their countries, why don't they use that witchcraft to become rich? Why would you want to work a low paying job if your country is rich in witchcraft? There is an answer to that. They know the consequences, but I kept on chasing and looking for someone that can assist me. You can live a nice life after you would have done some sacrifices, but in the end, those tokoloshi will turn against you in the end, and it will bring you trouble. As for me, I acquired a charm because I wanted to become rich. This charm, it is now turning against me to the point of whereby if I do not eat that poop, I am beaten by that tokoloshi. I can spend days and days locked up in my house because I do not want people to know that there is something that beats me at night if I refuse to do the things that it wants me to do. That traditional healer, unfortunately, he passed away a very long time ago. My story, it stands like this. I grew up living with my mother in KZN. My father, he used to work in the mines. He passed away when I was still a very young child. In our home, I was born as the only child. I have no older brother or a sister. I was the only child. So when my father passed away, my mother never wanted to get remarried. She just continued staying at the homestead that she had built with my father. However, since my father died, life for my mother and me was never good. Things were incredibly hard for us. Even regarding school, I ended up dropping out. I could not finish because it was just difficult. None of my father's relatives loved me or helped me. The reason I was hated was because of my father's. They wanted the properties, some of them that belonged to my father, because he had been staying in the city where he was working in the mines. So there were those that were close to my father, like my uncles. They were trying to hide that wealth away from my mother because they did not want my mother to go to the city and collect those items. So they started to become so heartless and they were mistreating my mother in ways that I can't even explain. I was very young and I could not defend my mother. I could not do anything. I still remember when I was still in grade 6, I almost went blind after I had been given a writing pen by my uncle, the eldest in the family. He just gave me a pen. Somehow, when I arrived at school, I started to vomit. And this pen, it was the one that made me to become blind. But I was prayed for by other prophets. When I was prayed for, I instantly regained my sight. My uncle later on went to have a child with his fourth wife. The child was born completely blind. And they started to accuse my mother of being a witch because what they wanted, the things that they wanted to happen to me, it ended up happening to my uncle's child. So they said that my mother, she was the evil one. Yet all that she had done was to go to church and to look for someone that could pray for him. So life was very difficult to stay at that home. So later on, after I had dropped out of school, I then went and I started to stay in Durban in the city with some of my friends that were already working. I started to work for the Indians and I was staying in this other location. I had friends of mine as well that were in Joburg that I would speak with. Working at the Indians, I then started to drive. At first, I was driving without a license and I raised money and then I got a license. Fast forward, I now had a Code 14, but that Indian man, he did not have a big truck. So I stopped working for him, I moved to Joburg, where I started to look for a job. So unfortunately, at the place where one of my friend was working, they then made a new policy. No one was supposed to teach other people a truck. If you were driving and you were caught teaching other people, then you were going to get fired on the spot. So I was stuck. I did not have experience to drive big trucks, yet whenever I would apply, they would say that they wanted some experience. The guy that assisted me, he was a guy that was from Zambia. He was a truck driver, and that is how I started to go to Zambia with that man. So I knew that country because I would go there as an assistant without getting paid anything. Unfortunately, I ended up with a criminal record, not because I committed a crime, but there was something that happened when we went on a trip to Zambia with that man that was teaching me how to drive a truck. So this man, he had many girlfriends. In each and every town, he had a girlfriend. This meant that he was supposed to hustle on the job so that he can be able to give his girlfriend some money. One incident that happened when we were in Botswana, he said that his baby mama there was complaining she wanted some money. So we stopped by to sell some diesel. Unfortunately, our boss had sent someone to follow us and we did not know this. And then that is how he was arrested, even though I was just an assistant driver. But you know, when the person that is teaching you how to drive is stealing some diesel, if he tells you to assist him to drain the diesel, can you say no? Obviously, you will agree to do what he has told you to do. So that is what I was doing there, and I was caught. We were arrested. I stayed in Botswana, came back to South Africa. Still, that man, he sent us to court. That is how I ended up with a criminal record. So I could not get a job because whenever I would drop a CV now, this meant that I was supposed to also tell the person that is supposed to hire me that I had a criminal record, which was very bad for me because I was someone that was still new in the industry. I had never worked for any big company, yet already I had been caught stealing diesel, even though it was not my idea. I was stuck now. I did not know what to do. There was no one that wanted to have me in their home, even though I was still staying at one of my uncle's house in Soweto. You could tell that his wife did not want me there. So I moved. I ended up staying in a shanty town where I built myself a shack. I would go and do some piece jobs. If I got a job to drive, I would drive. If I got a job to do garden work, I would do it. I then returned back to Durban. When I returned back to Durban, my mother then told me that she had bumped into one of my former friends whom I had left in Durban. He had been working as a security there in Durban. She was surprised. This is what my mom told me. I was surprised when I saw him. He seems as if he is living a very good, comfortable life. You should speak with him. My mother told me that she had gotten his phone numbers because she wanted me to talk to him. So I then started to speak with this friend of mine, and he told me that he was in Cape Town sorting out some businesses, but he was going to return back to Durban. When he was in Durban, he was going to inform me so that we can have a one-on-one meeting. I was happy, more than happy, I can say. I then went to him when he informed me that he was around. So I went and I visited him, and he told me that he had been thinking about me. He wanted to assist me. He wanted to help me so that I can also find my own way in life. When he met my mother started to cry, saying that please help my son because he is struggling in Gauteng. I was a little bit embarrassed, but he said to me, do not be embarrassed. It is okay, man. I am here to assist you and I am going to help you. I will see what kind of a business you can do so that you can also have a better future for yourself. When I looked at him, he was staying in a mansion. He had a very nice life. The boy that I used to know, struggling, working as a security for an Indian man, getting a low salary, his life had completely transformed. And when I asked for some money from him, he went upstairs and he came back. He was holding a small cross bag, and then he opened it up, and I saw that there was a lot of money, even money from different countries, that he said he had visited those countries and he had bought some money from those countries. He gave me 10K and he said that I should go and buy some food for my mother. And I said, okay. And since my life, it was completely messed up, I begged him and I said, please, just let me stay with you. But he said, no, I want you to go and give your mother this money. I went and I gave my mother the money. I did not know that this was the first step of entering into a cult. He said, just give your mother a portion of this money after you would have bought some groceries for him. When I returned back to him, I started to stay with him. I sat with him down one day and I said, tell me the secret. How is your business moving? Because I did not even know what kind of a business he was doing. He was also paying me to stay with him. I said, if there is a place where you got spiritual assistance, I want to go there. I told him that my life, it was so messed up and I desperately needed money. He said to me, do not worry, it is a small issue. And he was in a business of selling second-hand clothes. I did not even believe it when he told me that he was in the business of selling second-hand clothes. How so? I asked him. It is not possible. How can you say that you are selling second-hand clothes? I then said to him, where are your shops? He laughed and he said, I don't sell a lot. I just buy a few and then I sell them to the people that sell a lot of second-hand clothes. And he started to tell me about some of the rituals that he does. He uses those clothes to steal good luck from the people that would go and buy the second-hand clothes. As someone that always thought of revenging my father's relatives, I wanted to get rich quickly so that they could see me driving a nice car. He told me that he had gone to Zambia. I was surprised because I had been to Zambia several times. I told him that I used to drive a truck going with this other Zambian man who was teaching me how to drive a truck. We then went to a place that is called Mazubuka, and we went to a Sangoma. So this Sangoma is the one that assisted me to do the money rituals. I don't even know how my friend got to know about this Zambian healer. We were dropped off at a bus stop because when you go there, even if you are rich, you're not supposed to act as if you are rich. You have to go there like a poor person. And then I was introduced to that Sangoma by my friend, and he told me that I had to go into a bush area under a thorn tree. I was supposed to relieve myself and to bring the poop. I brought it, and he said that you are supposed to rub this on the poop and then you eat it. I was then taken to another room where I did those rituals. When I came back, I was then instructed to rent a house so that my mother can stay in that house. She was supposed to die and I was supposed to sleep with him before I could inform my relatives, the police. My mother died. I climbed onto the bed and I slept with my mother's dead body. And when the number of days were done that I had been instructed to do this, then I informed the police that I had found my mother dead. She had a heart attack. That is what the postmortem said. To this very day, Brother Nashi, I am a man that makes money. But when I sit down, when I think about my life, I am a depressed man. Alcohol used to work, but it does not work anymore. This is a warning that I just want to give to people who will hear my story. Never, never visit a Sangoma for money ritual. I have come to you, Brother Nashi, and to your platform. Continue the work that you are doing. To those that are going to church, do not stop going to church. To those that want to do money rituals, go and repent before you end up doing the rituals that I did. It is not normal for a man to eat his own poop once each and every week. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with him in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Eating your own poop. Can you believe it? Yeah, ne?